Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Greg, your co-host to the Grilling Ticket Away podcast. Here's my buddy
What's happening, everyone? This is Ben.
Ben. Man, congratulations! You finally did it. You broke
Woo!
through.
Greg, it's I take full credit.
I know. I know. We talk about it like you're like part of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, let me tell you, I'm giving it all on my couch, just like those guys are out on the field.
Yeah.
Um, and all the hard work is paid off, Greg.
Uh,
Man, get the buy. Oh, geez.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah. Yep.
As a fan, Detroit Lions fan.
Yep.
But you finally did it. You broke through. You got the number one seed first time. I think. What is it?
Ever?
Ever?
Yeah, it's the
in
first
the
time.
history of the Detroit Lions.
Mhm.
So congrats for that.
Yeah,
I know you worked hard.
I told my son, it's like, dude, this is the first time in my life and in your life that this has ever happened. Like, that's pretty cool. We get to
Share it together.
share it together, you know?
You only got
Yeah.
30 years on him, right?
Yeah. So he
He doesn't know how good he has
yeah.
it.
I was like, man, you better appreciate this, okay? He wore a Lions jersey to
That's
school today.
awesome.
So did my daughter. So I was like,
Oh, nice.
you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well, it's always nice when it's against a division rival too.
oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they like took it to him.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm really hoping that
First half was a little sketchy, but
sure was. Jeez.
Uh,
A lot of turnovers and stuff. Well,
Yeah.
a lot of defense in that game. We were grilling too. I did some chicken tacos.
oh, okay.
It was cold out, Greg.
Oh, man, it was really cold.
It was windy.
The last couple of days been like negative, like
Yeah.
10 degrees wind chill.
We were out there.
You were?
I was
Nice.
out there. Yeah,
You were out there, yeah.
Nobody else was.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I was out there.
Dog out there with you?
Absolutely not.
No.
Yeah, he stays inside. It gets a little too cold.
Yeah.
He looks at me from inside.
Inside, yeah.
But yeah, man, solid win, solid season. I'm just,
Mhm.
man, pumped for these playoffs.
Yeah, Packers kind of limped in. Two losses in a row, real bad losses. One getting
To the Bears.
demolished by the Vikings, and then
Yeah.
getting really just I don't know, a demoralizing loss to the Bears. So hopefully they can pull it together for a competitive game against the Eagles.
How do you
But
feel?
we'll see. I don't know, man. It's the playoffs. Anything can happen,
Sure.
but it's a lot different. They say the NBA regular season really doesn't matter that much once you get in. But
NBA.
yeah, but NFL, I mean, games matter. That's why you play
Yeah.
the game. So, and we got some injuries going in
Mhm.
too, so
Sure.
it's like, oh man. But decent season. I mean, a little bit better than last year. Young team still the youngest team in the NFL. So I mean, there's something to be said about that. But let's get some vets in there so we can get over that hump. You know what I mean? Nobody's biting off any kneecaps in the
That's for
Packers.
sure.
are they?
That's for sure, man.
Man, they showed Dan Campbell again yesterday. He's always got like a heaper in. He's got his front teeth are all jacked up and like
Yeah.
he got
Man.
yellow stain.
I was joking with my wife and stuff too. Like, I bet he would throw on a jersey and just go right in there.
Oh, I
and just
bet he would.
Hag somebody.
Yeah.
Like, he would.
So what is that Toby Keith song? I'm not as good as I once was. But,
I don't know. I don't listen to Toby Keith. Couldn't tell you.
I'm as good once as I ever was. That's about right.
I think that sums Dan Campbell,
Yeah, right.
Campbell up, man. Yeah, I think he could get in there and just light someone.
Oh yeah.
Light someone up.
It looks
I'd love
like
to
he
see
can
him.
still play.
Yeah,
Probably more in shape than some of those guys out there.
sure. Yeah.
All right, well, congrats again, man. Looking forward to seeing how the playoffs go, and we'll talk about like some tailgating stuff or some
Heck
like
yeah.
foods later on. I think later on as we get closer to the Super Bowl. But I know you said chicken tacos. You did anything else? You grill or barbecue over the past week since we last talked?
No, not much, man. We've been busy and kind of gone a lot and kind of running. Obviously, it's, sports. Kids are both doing sports, so we're running all over the place. But yeah, it's the kids want tacos. It's like, well, we got some chicken. Let's do some chicken tacos.
Mm-hmm.
They're pumped, man.
Mm.
They're pumped. They was solid, easy cook, man. It was, like I said, it was cold out, so
Did you do them whole breasts and then cut them up afterwards?
yeah. So I cut the breast in half so they'd cook a little bit quicker.
Quicker.
But then I threw them in the crock pot,
Yeah.
or not the crock pot, the cast iron,
Cast iron.
out on the grill. And smoked them for like an hour.
Oh wow.
Brought them in, chopped them up, seasoned them, threw some onions in with it, and put them back out there for like another half hour and stuff.
Okay.
So
What kind of smoke?
I just went with pecan, man. Went light. I didn't. I wasn't gonna look around in the garage too much for what I had. I just saw like first bag I saw, grabbed a chunk and went.
Yeah.
So like I said, it was cold out, so I wasn't
You weren't looking to stay out there.
I wasn't looking to stay out there long. I was looking for something that would just add a kiss of smoke to it and stuff.
Yeah.
And go from there. But it was fun, man. So I did those smash burgers last weekend. I had quite a few extra. My daughter took one in a thermos, like on Friday for lunch. And
A smash burger?
yeah. So like my wife just like heated it up,
Yeah.
put it in her thermos for her, and then gave her like a bun.
Okay.
So then when she got to school, she would
Just take it
at
out.
lunch, take it
Ah,
out, and
got
then so she was saying like, so she wanted like 2 like Hawaiian buns and
Do some sliders.
kind of yeah. And she was like, so I had some extra meat, and like a friend asked like if they could have a bite, and so she gave me one. She was like, oh man, this is so good. Like, and then another friend was like, oh, can I have a little piece too? And she was like, yeah, here you go. And it's like, man, who makes this stuff for you? And Ken's is like, oh, my dad. and the girl's like, wow, your dad's a really good cook. Hell yeah. You like that? Made sure to tell my wife that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, did you talk to Ken's about lunch on Friday?
Hey, tell her again.
Hey, come tell your mom. Come tell your mom what you told me, all right?
Who makes this for you?
Yeah, well,
My dad. Wow.
Wow.
You're going to be cooking for the whole 5th grade here soon.
Well, stay pony up for the meat.
Sure,
Greg.
yeah. Bring your
Okay,
smoker out there.
Yeah. Sit out there in the parking lot
Yeah.
right by the playground.
Probably healthier than the trash that they serve at that lunches, you know?
Yeah. There's a kid in my son's class. His buddy his buddy's dad serves the food. So he's always asking for like an extra scoop of stuff because it's his buddy's dad. You know,
don't go light on the peas there.
Hey. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Big dog's got to eat.
Yeah.
See me playing out here on this playground.
You see me out here.
Yeah.
Gotta feed these thighs, you know.
Yeah. Man, yeah, just if you got kids and you're packing lunches, man, I'm telling you, the thermos is a game changer. You can put so many different things in there.
Yeah.
Ribs,
smash
burgers. I did pasta today for the boys.
Yeah.
They love it. So
she did a taco bowl today.
Oh.
She said she wanted a taco bowl.
Yeah.
I was like, all right.
Put some taco meat in there, or like the chicken, the chicken you had.
Yeah. Yep. So she took that.
Yeah, she might come back. Oh, everybody loved that.
Right. Hey, we need to take more.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
We're not feeding the whole neighborhood.
Start charging some, $1 a bite.
Yeah. Then you'll get a call from the principal.
That's
hey,
fine.
we got to talk. Kansas charges people for lunch.
call me up. Hey, good for her.
Yeah, can't take that profit away from the lunch.
They do okay.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Ken's came home from kindergarten, and she was like, she goes, Dad, because this was like, she didn't trust the hot lunch, right? So we were giving her cold lunch every single day, and she said something about like chocolate milk. I'm like, what do you mean? Where do you get chocolate milk from? She's like, the lady gives it to me. I'm like, what, are we getting charged for this? And she was like, I don't know. She just gives me the chocolate milk. Like, what do you mean? She just gives you a chocolate milk. Do you ask for it? She's like, I don't know. She gives me a chocolate milk every day. Sure enough, man, we get a bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Charged for it.
Free.
I was like, God dang it. I was like, Ken's, we're paying for this, huh? And she's like, well, it's really good. I'm like, yeah, it's chocolate milk.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's all I get you.
Yeah, that's all I get you. Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, that's good. I'm glad things are going well. At least it sounds like the kids at the lunch like it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Hey,
always start them young.
Yeah. So doing
Burn
okay.
Pit.
Yeah.
Burn Pit. Tell your dad.
Tell your friends.
Yeah.
It's like, hey.
Yeah, this is what we use on this.
Yeah. It's all seasoning. It's not me.
Yeah.
It's not me.
Yeah, I mean, I did some poppers last night.
Woo.
I did them in, it was cold, so I didn't, because we were only doing like 6 or 7, like we only had 6 or 7 jalapenos, so I didn't get to fire up the grill for just that. And my wife was gone, so it was just me and the boys, and,
Each had 2?
Yeah, well, 2 or 3, yeah.
Man, so I got a question for you. So, like, I've done poppers with my dad a few times.
Yeah.
And he'll do it where he kind of does like a half circle around the stem and then goes down.
Yeah.
and
So
then
it leaves the stem on.
and then he'll fill it, right?
Yeah.
And then he'll put the other half like back on
Oh,
and
okay.
then wrap it. So
Wrap
you're
it.
doing like the whole
Yeah, I
jalapeno.
got you.
I've always done it where I just cut it in
Cut it in
half and
half.
like
Yeah.
cut, get the seeds out and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, I'll be honest, like when he was doing it, I was like, dude, this is taking forever.
Hey, it's an art.
It is. It sure
Everybody
is.
likes it their
When
own way.
he
But then you
said
could cut it
too,
up then, right? And like, does he cut it up then into like little like ovals, or does he just leave it whole and you eat
leaves a
the whole
hole,
thing?
leaves a hole, and he's
See, like the bacon to jalapeno ratio is often because I usually do like a whole, on half. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
so like you're losing out on some of that bacon if
yeah.
you only wrap in one, unless you put in double wrapping it. I don't know.
Oh no,
Okay.
no, he's just doing one.
Yeah. So
But I asked him like why he doesn't. It's like, well, then the cream cheese doesn't come out at the end.
yeah. But that's what the bacon's for, isn't it? Like
I
you
thought,
kind of
like,
like
yeah.
it's like duct tape.
It's I mean, I've always had like a little maybe come out and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not like the whole. I'm
Right.
losing it all. Like
Right.
maybe a little, but
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm kind of the same way. I
yeah,
slice it long ways in half, and then I scoop out. Maybe I'll leave some, if I want it a little spicy, I'll leave some seeds in there, or I'll put it in the cream
that's
cheese.
what I do, man. I put the
Put
seeds
some
in
of
the
this
cream cheese
in the
and
cream cheese, mix it up, and then whatever else you're putting in there, and then you spread it out in
yeah,
the little boat jalapeno you got,
yeah.
and then you wrap it with the bacon, and then you season it again on top.
Mhm.
Usually, that's what I usually do, and then you throw them on the smoker or you throw them in the oven or whatever you're doing.
You do yours oven.
Oven, yeah. So I use I've got like a grate so it gets the airflow going
Yep.
through there, and then obviously the grease collects at the bottom of the other pan, and I about 400 for it probably took a good 15-20 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. So nice crispy bacon.
Mm.
Nothing was really spilling out. So if it is, I just scoop it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Here it is. Nice. It gets a nice little char on it too if it comes out kind of and it kind of bakes a little bit.
Mhm.
So that's how I do my jalapeno poppers.
Yeah, I do the same.
Yeah. Well, we're in 2025 now, Ben. So I wanted to go over. I saw a list from our best friend Steve Raichlen, of 11 prediction he has for 2025 regarding like grilling and barbecue.
Okay.
So I want to start there with you, and then I also want to talk about what are your top 5 grilling like pieces of equipment that you would have, like if you were just starting out, like say you
Mhm.
just got a smoker or a grill for Christmas, and this may be your first time doing it. Like, what are some of those must-have pieces that you would recommend to somebody? So, um, I'm gonna pull up this list here from our best friend Stephen Raichlen. And he puts this out here every year. So if you go and follow him, you can follow him on Instagram or Facebook or whatever you like. I always find it interesting. I like to see what his take is on stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, he's got a cool perspective on grilling and stuff. I mean, um, he's kind of a pioneer in a lot of ways to me. At least I think he is. And
Mm-hmm.
just like how he goes about it, right? Like, I mean, who would ever think to cook like either directly on the coals or throwing like
Mm-hmm.
on a shovel,
Yeah.
or using like hay, smoking with hay and stuff like that. Like, I think, he's always willing to try something and share it. And
Man, I went out to look at all the books he has.
yeah,
He's got like 30 different books.
yeah,
Like, and they're not just barbecuing and grilling, like they're
Mhm.
more in depth because he's classically trained, like I think over in Europe,
yeah,
or
I
as
think
a
he's
chef,
in
France or
wasn't
something
he?
like that. Yeah. So like, man, it's just not just barbecue and grilling.
Mhm.
It's like he's got a bunch of books out there.
Yeah, I told you I've got like my wife got me one of his books, and it's that man-made meals.
Mhm.
And it's just full of just information, like all down to like what knives to use to cut certain things, and like
Mhm.
it's not just about grilling, like you
Yeah.
said, it's about making like a bunch of dishes inside too, and obviously a bunch you can pull outside and do on the grill, but it's just full of information. So it's like his goal, man. It really seems like it's just to make it easier, keep it simple. It's really I don't feel like any of his recipes are like anything like over the top usually.
Mhm. Right. No, they're usually pretty simple to follow. I think that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
All right, so I'm gonna go. I got the list here, but some of these I think maybe need a little bit more explanation about what he's talking about. So let me see if I can pull it up here.
This is for trends for just barbecue and grilling trends.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right. So his top 11, like he's got 11 out here that he's predicting. So number one on his list is high performance charcoal grills.
They're making a comeback, huh?
I guess, yeah.
Okay.
Um, what do you think is a high performance charcoal grill?
Man, I wouldn't know. You think I have one of those? No.
Yeah.
Um, no, man. I've seen you kind of have. You're seeing a lot more like offsets, but like, was it Weber has that one too, where it's like you just put charcoal like in the side, and it's almost seems similar to me like to a pellet grill, where it's like you kind of you have your side box there, and it's what is it like the vertical chimney, it comes down and kind of slowly just continues to light as it goes up
Mhm.
and feed into the grill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think so. And like, I also think like when you're looking at like Weber, performers where they got like the propane starter in the bottom, like I guess that you would call that a high performance one, right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Mhm.
My dad has that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
It makes it pretty easy.
Yeah.
Um, just because you don't have to sit there with a chimney or anything like
Mhm.
that. But um, yeah, I prefer the low performance, just charcoal and stuff. You know what I mean?
Just as simple as
Hmm.
possible.
The next one here, just trying to, yeah, these are 2020. Okay, well, I was looking for the link. He said link was in his bio, but I don't see it out here yet. So um, we'll just go off the list he has and make our interpretations off of it. Um, whole steer cooking.
Ooh, I like that.
Whole steer. You do a whole steer, man?
That's like take like a week to cook that whole
Man,
thing.
that'd be a long time.
Oh man.
We saw an increase of whole hog, I'd say,
Hmm.
over the last few years, but here he's predicting that he'll see more whole steer cooking.
I guess it depends. Like sometimes, when you're looking at doing the whole hogs, right? Like you're not. I mean, from what we've seen, typically you're cooking what about like a 60 to like 90 pound pig.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's about average, I would say,
Right.
right? So I'd imagine like for a cow, you're it's not gonna be like the biggest ones out there.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Kind of like a suckling pig, right? So
I
it's
guess, yeah.
something you could fit on your grill. But
Well, I mean,
he's got some images here to go with the post. So like his whole steer, look at that. It's like bigger than that guy.
yeah, I've
It's
seen
a
that.
huge one. Whereas this kind of um, it's got it splayed out on
Mhm.
like a bunch of like iron racks, and it's kind of
See
just
those? I've seen it too. Like those iron racks, like turn.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
It's
So
crazy.
it's basically on a vertical spit, and then like he's got it
Almost like rotisserie.
yeah angled down. So and the fire's on the ground,
Hmm.
obviously, so it's angled out over the fire. But yeah, that's huge, man. I don't know, man. I think maybe if you're cooking for a lot of people, here it looks like they're at some sort of barbecue festival or something like that. Um, yeah, I guess we really haven't seen too much of it,
No,
at least around here.
no, no. And like it's a. I wonder if you could. Like we've talked about doing your own like a pig with like the
Right.
cinder blocks.
Yeah.
Where you have like the mesh, the metal
Hmm.
mesh, and you have like the pig like laid out in that, and then that's where you're flipping it, right? So
Yeah.
probably do something like that too. You don't. I don't think you'd have to have necessarily that type of equipment to do a whole cow,
Yeah. I guess you're right.
but you'd have to have something big enough to move it
Yeah,
on.
and you need some help to
Jeez.
get that thing flipped if you
Yeah,
need to,
right.
man.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Uh,
That's well. There's our goal for
right.
2025,
Oh
Greg.
yeah.
We're doing it in your
Yeah,
backyard.
okay. Yeah, I'll just have to get clearance from the
Fire
neighbors.
department.
Yeah. All right, number three on Steven Reichlen's 11 grilling trends he's predicting here in 2025. Barbecue fusion. So here, I think this is kind of more along the lines of flavors, right? So he's got some like crab rangoon, like some Asian style, I guess you could say, barbecue, brisket, chopped cheese, hot crispy chicken sandwich. We've seen that quite a bit. And then short ribs and stuff like that. So, um, but you like a little bit more Asian flair to it.
Okay, sounds
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Delicious.
I no complaints here.
No.
This one's interesting. Fire domes. So it's essentially like a vertical spit, but it's um, open air. So it's not like not enclosed.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you could say it's kind of like what one of those tripods you put over an open fire,
Uh-huh.
when you're camping,
Yep.
but it's got multiple layers to it.
Okay.
And then also like you can hang things from the top.
Is it like rotisserie too, or is
It
it
doesn't look
just,
like it. It's just like a straight up, vertical hanging,
okay.
looks a little bit like looks a lot, looks like a lot, but who knows? The next one here, griddles galore. I mean, we kind
Oh,
of already
yeah.
started seeing that already. People getting griddles all over the
Mm.
place. Do you think that trend's slowing down a little bit though?
I don't think so,
You don't
man.
think so?
I don't think so. Like it seems like what I'm going like when we go out
Mm-hmm.
to either drop stuff off at different locations or whatever, even like out shopping and stuff. Like I'm still seeing a ton of griddles out there
Yeah.
in the grilling section and stuff. So I mean, it's I know even like my dad's talked about like trying to add one on his camper that like can slide out and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Get a
And
smaller one, like a
yeah,
Camp Chef or something like that.
kind of yeah. So no, I don't really see it slowing down. I think too like you're gonna see like a lot of people. How many people did we talk to all last year that was just like, oh, I just got a new griddle,
Mm-hmm.
or like even people who had gotten rid of their grills and gone to the griddle and stuff like that for kind of ease and stuff. So
Mm-hmm. Okay.
yeah, I'd say I agree with them there. It's probably
Yeah.
just
And
gonna
then you got,
continue.
Blackstone teaming up now or partnering with the Weber. So like
Mhm.
that they're combining, forces there. So I guess you could say that they're kind of maybe no longer in the like startup phase of griddles. Maybe they're starting to mature a little bit. So who knows? Um, Personal pizza ovens, seeing more of those, more trends.
Am I seeing more of those? I mean, I haven't seen more of those.
Because he's got that on the next
Yeah. Okay.
right under
Um.
griddles. He's got personal pizza ovens.
I mean, I believe it. It makes sense, I guess. It seems pretty like I don't want to say one dimensional, but like you're not cooking much. You're not doing like hot dogs or burgers. I guess you could out there,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, I don't know. I'd have to like look into it more, man. I think that there's, you know, that's probably just me being a little closed minded to it, I guess. But
Sure.
like, you can definitely. I think it's something you can definitely play with.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see it. It wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprising if I guess more were selling and stuff. It wouldn't be in my top
Yeah. Yeah.
list, but
Yeah, I mean, it's a learning curve. You got to get one, and you got to start to learn the process, just like grilling and barbecuing. So, that's interesting there that he'd have that on there. But then tomahawk steaks
Ooh,
everywhere.
now we're talking.
We did see quite a bit of that, I think,
Mhm.
over the last year, maybe 2 years. It became really popular.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I don't know, man. I think people are starting to maybe move away from it a little bit.
Yeah, you think so?
I think people are trying to go bigger, man. Just like with
Yeah.
everything. Because what was it
Like
like? You started seeing tomahawks everywhere, but then what did somebody do? They started doing
Thor's hammer.
right. Yeah, they just
Yeah.
started doing something bigger.
Yeah.
That's I think that's where the whole steer plays in. Like people are just
Ooh.
like always looking for like that next thing. Where like, okay, I've done tomahawk now.
Mhm.
What's the next big cut of meat I could do? As they work their way up to a whole steer. And I
I
also think
guess.
price plays a factor.
Mhm.
Those prices kind of skyrocketed a little bit. It's really tough to do that. Um,
Yeah, man. I mean, I can't imagine doing a whole cow in one cook.
right, right. Unless you're getting sponsored or something like that, it might be a little different story. But
Mhm.
all right, man. So cowboy butter. Have you used cowboy butter quite a bit at all?
Just kind of where you're making your own.
Yeah. So let's see what the definition here of cowboy butter. Um, All right. So it's usually for steaks. It says it's a seasoned compound butter. It's spicy. I mean, you can basically put whatever you want.
Right.
So what is it made out of? Butter, spices, herbs. So
Mhm.
there's a bunch out there. You can go look for your own kind of cowboy butter recipe and then tailor it yourself. But a lot of them have like Dijon mustard in it. chives, parsley. Like usually, like when you're navigating the social medias and you see somebody doing that, like they're making a tomahawk and then they're making their cowboy butter next
Mhm.
to it so they can dip it in when they're done, whatever. So I could see that. I mean, I think that's one of those things that's really easy to make, and you can use it. You make it one time, like kind of like, and then freeze it, and then
Yeah.
pull it out whenever you need it again, or whenever you want to do it again. So, um,
I don't know, man. Sure. I don't think. I mean, how often do you do that?
I mean, I've done like compound butter, but it's usually around like Thanksgiving when I'm using,
Sure.
on a turkey or whatever. But steaks, I've only done it a few times, but mine are more kind of butter, garlic, herby, like
Mhm.
not really mustardy type of thing.
Yeah,
So
right. That kind of threw me
yeah,
off a bit.
so I mean, I've seen it quite a bit. A lot of people do use like Dijon mustard.
Mhm.
So um,
On your steaks, though, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I know what you're saying.
I guess if I were to do it, I might use like a horseradish or something
Yeah, I think
in
you could
there.
put that in there as well.
But
Um,
I'm going more for like a bite. But I'll be honest with you, like, I don't know.
right.
I don't even know. I typically don't even put butter on my steaks.
Yeah, me either. It's one of those like, oh, if I got some time, you got some space, maybe I'll do it. But
Yeah. But
uh,
even then, too, like, I don't know.
yeah,
I don't feel like I need it.
yeah. I mean, sometimes just like, hey, change things up a little
Sure.
bit. Yeah,
I
but
mean,
I wouldn't say I do it often. Like
I
maybe one or two times a year.
yeah, right. That's what I was gonna say too. Like, I don't even know. I think I've done it like once this
Mhm.
past year. You know,
Yeah, yeah. All right, the next one is so Stevie's got picanha, right? Is that how you say it? So it's the kind of beef that comes from the rump of a cow, rump cover, rump calf.
have you done one of those?
I have it, no.
No, me neither.
Yeah. So, um,
What are they? What are you cooking with that? What are you doing?
so a lot of
Shredded beef. You doing like?
yeah, so a lot of these like you do it with like a skewer, like a big long skewer.
Oh, and that's where you're kind of.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So and then
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people use like that compound butter on this as
Hmm.
well. So it's usually over like a rotisserie or open fire or something like that. And I guess it's a little bit cheaper. I don't know.
Have you
But
seen that anywhere?
around here, no.
I've
I think it's
because I've
a
really been
little bit
looking
more
for
kind
it.
of the Southwest.
Okay.
Honestly, like California, Arizona,
Hmm.
New Mexico. Around here, we don't really get much. I don't think. I
Hmm.
don't see a lot of it. But
It's
not to
funny.
say that you couldn't get that somewhere.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Walmart.
just haven't been like looking for it though either. You know,
Exactly. Yeah.
like I don't know. It's probably there, but I just haven't.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So then let's see. Let's keep moving on here. All right. So bone marrow everywhere. I've been seeing that a little bit
I
more.
have two.
Yeah, where people like grill it like right in the bone,
Hmm.
and then they kind of just like scoop it out and
Yeah.
eat it.
Yeah.
Um, I would imagine that maybe there's some health benefits. That's why people are doing it more often, or it just looks cool because you're drinking it out of a bone.
I guess.
um, yeah, so I'm not sure if I will be doing that.
Good. I was gonna ask like kind of where do you stand on that?
Yeah. Not something I would probably do.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I guess I do see it out there quite a bit. If you're looking for a challenge or something different, go try it out. Um, I'm just looking at some recipes here, um, to see kind of how they are doing it because I haven't done it at all.
No, man. I'm with you though. I've seen it like been seeing it more and more lately.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, it's basically just cook it till it's soft and then serve it. So
it's,
they described it as God's butter,
mm,
fatty, nutrient rich, and delicious, I guess. Um, yeah, yeah. So I don't know. Not sure.
you gonna try that this year?
No, probably not. Not on my list.
No.
You know what I mean? And then the last one here is the expect more barbecue pop-ups and food trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean here in the winter they're a little scarce, but then maybe once it starts getting warmed up. So out of this list, anything that you see that's not on this list, like as far as trends go?
As far as trends go, I'd say, I mean, I think the one that kind of surprised me the most was starting off with like,
High performance.
yeah,
And there's no mention of pellets on here at
yeah,
all, you know,
or even gas. Like,
or
but I
gas.
mean, gas is kind of seems like it's kind of almost taking like the backseat to the cast or not the cast irons, the griddles.
The
Um,
griddles.
but yeah, no pellets like
Mhm.
whatsoever.
Right.
Which I think is interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Um,
We saw a huge explosion over the past few years, and it
yeah.
seems to be dying down. It seemed like the griddles have maybe started to take over.
I mean, when we go out of places though, or like I said too, when we're stopping at local stores and dropping stuff off, and
Mhm.
I always ask like, "Well, what's selling?"
What's selling? Yeah.
You've been selling a lot of grills, like, yeah. What is it?
Mhm.
And it's still like the pellets, man. Like,
Yeah, it's the ease,
mhm.
especially like if you don't know, if you haven't tried it before, like grilling or barbecuing, it's like, okay, it's probably the easiest one to learn on.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean that's one thing that we didn't see on the list that maybe we're a little bit surprised by. But anything like stands out to you that, if you had to make a prediction for barbecue in 2025, what would you say?
Barbecue in 2025. Um, hmm, I don't know, man. Um, I like that he has like kind of different cuts of beef on there
Yeah.
because there's always different trends with that. I think,
Hmm.
you know, um, like I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know. The list kind of some of it surprised me a bit.
Sure.
Um, new trends for 2025. I mean, I think you're going to continue to see just people be creative,
Yeah.
trying new things, which is always good. It's always fun. It always helps. It always, adds to kind of obviously what we do or what we talk
Hmm.
about and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
look at last year, it seems like the party ribs really exploded. So,
Hmm.
um, I don't know, man. I would like I said, even like the whole cow thing, like
Yeah.
it's crazy. Can you imagine that? Like I can't imagine cooking a whole cow.
No, man.
Um,
I
I,
it's because we don't cook for that.
I guess, yeah.
Like that was like it's a lot of work, and then you got to be around a lot of people.
Well, yeah. Well, and that's like it's different than a pig. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh yeah, for sure.
it's because you can cook that totally different. Like,
Hmm.
and are you just cutting slabs off and eat it almost like steak? Or
Right.
are you seasoning that? Like getting down in there and stuff. Like to me, that's wild.
Hmm.
So when we've done the pigs and stuff, like we've done it and like you know shredded pork,
Yeah.
like the whole basically shred the whole thing up. Like
Yeah.
doing that with the cow too. Like that's a
Hmm.
lot of. It's just and it's like it's different, right? Like then are you cooking it till you know like 205? Like what are you
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah.
And different cuts cook different. It's
Exactly.
just like man, it's
Yeah.
mind boggling to me. So
It'd be a
um,
challenge.
I don't know if that's a trend for 2025. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah.
But as far as like other ones that I can think of, like not really, man.
Okay.
What about you?
Man, I've been thinking a little bit about it. And I think it falls a little bit along the lines of some of the things that he already kind of said here, with like high performance charcoal, and then like he's got some open fire ones here. I think people are going to cook more over open fire, even in their backyards, like finding like some way to incorporate a tripod or just like um, whatever they have around the house. I think people are getting more creative that way.
Mhm.
Not necessarily what they're going to cook, but how they're going to cook it. So I think my prediction is like it's almost like you're going to be going back in time with the way people cook, like moving away from the electric stuff and the stuff you have to plug in, and more kind of getting back to meat and fire, or
Nice.
food and fire. That's kind of my prediction. I say that because that's like mentally that's where I'm at right now. That's just give me some wood,
Yeah.
let me start this up, and then give me a cast iron, and let me go out there and just start cooking.
Mhm.
So that's my prediction there, man.
I like that.
So we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
Write that
Any
down.
any trends for like the business side of things, as far as as if you could say, um, you know, just the barbecue game in general from a business perspective.
Let's see, man. Like as a whole across the
Yeah, like
barbecue like
just like
industry and
when you
stuff?
think about the whole industry of barbecuing and grilling, that can include equipment, spices, rubs, the actual cooking of the food, businesses that do pop ups or catering or anything like that. Anything you could think of that comes to mind that you would predict or you see coming our way here in
I
2025?
think a lot of catering stuff, man.
Yeah,
It seems to be like kind of trending that way. A lot more like been talking to a lot more people who have either quit, their full-time jobs and are in
yeah,
the catering side of things and are
yep.
doing more like events like weddings and stuff like that. Um and like I mean, how many people we talked to last year that were like, "Oh yeah,
Mm.
I own a catering business and
Right.
this is what I do and this is what I cook for it." And
Yep.
like I love talking to those people and stuff because it's totally different. It's a different mindset when you're cooking for that many people,
Mm.
right? Like
Right.
that's it's a lot different than what we do cooking like just in our backyard.
Yeah.
It's like it's a whole different game because
Yeah.
now you're cooking for a bunch of people. You don't want to get anyone sick and stuff, right? So
Yeah, you gotta step up
um
your game. Yeah.
yeah,
A
and
lot.
you got a lot of moving pieces all
Mm.
at once, and it all has to get done kind of roughly like
Mm.
the same time, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, dinner's at 4. Like, this is part of our wedding day.
Yeah.
This is when we're eating. So you're like, you got to be ready to go,
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know? Um, so I hope we get some more
Mm.
kind of catering out there and
Yeah.
stuff. Definitely the food trucks. I mean, we've seen it.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot more, even people that we know getting
Yeah.
into the food truck side of
Food
things.
trucks or trailers or whatever.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And even on like I think the rubs, man, rubs are going to be big this year.
Yeah.
I think they're going to move. I think, um, that's why I think like too, like you and I have been talking a lot about like kind of being on the creative side of things and coming out with maybe something new,
Yeah.
try something new or add something and okay, how do kind of keeping people engaged around barbecue.
Hmm.
Um, and just like, I think there's times too where people are like, how many times do I want to try something different. I want to try something new. Like I love, we people all the time are like, man, my spice rack's full. My wife's gonna kill me if I come home with another one. But
But yeah, always looking for something different.
yeah, they're always like, I
Yeah.
think that's cool. Like, you never know when you're gonna need it, right?
Right.
That's kind of our answer to them.
Yeah. You could
Um,
never have too much.
yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, it's just that time of
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna do this one today,
Hmm.
right? So hopefully more on like that creative side, man.
Okay.
I'm excited for to see what people are doing this year.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always looking forward to seeing what folks are creating and things like
Mhm.
that. I think there'll be a little bit of consolidation this year, man. We saw like 2020 just explode with new businesses and
Yeah.
new players in the game, and I think there's going to be kind of a little bit of a shakeup this year, and then we're going to see a little bit of
In year
consolidation.
5.
Yeah, and then the businesses and the creators that are agile and adaptable are going to be the ones that come out,
Mhm.
in the long run. So, maybe some of those legacy barbecue brands, might have a little challenge here going into this next year. But yeah, I do agree. Kind of the more pop ups and stuff. Like I think the brick and mortar is still going to be difficult. So I think the ones that continue to be able to move around and change their locations and change their menus up a little bit
Mhm.
more might come out ahead here in 2025. So that's one thing I'm looking. I'm maybe predicting a little bit is that there'll be a little bit more shakeup, and some of the more established places might, if they haven't been adapting, they might find themselves on the way out. So, um, that was kind of a bummer to end on that one, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So,
jeez.
sorry about that. So, but yeah, but there'll still be positive for people that are looking to get into the game because there's opportunity everywhere. um, but man, so let's talk about if you're just starting out,
Mhm.
you just got a new grill or barbecue smoker for Christmas, the holidays. What are your top 5 kind of pieces of equipment or things that you need to have to make sure like your first cook is going to go as well as it could?
So for the first cook, man, like I remember it was like 11 years ago today actually we
Ooh,
got our house, we closed
wow,
on it. So it was like it
11
was
years.
so I remember like, like I've said, man, one of the first things we bought, I got a basketball hoop and I got a grill.
Yeah, yeah.
I still use that
So
Weber.
you
Uh-huh.
still shoot hoops?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's out there last week with Cal.
yeah.
Yeah. Playing.
Shooting hoops while you're grilling.
While grills rolling. So yeah, both are still there.
That's great.
Which is awesome. But um like I was kind of thinking about that, like kind of some of the first things that I ever got. And if I could go back and like add to it, like what was things like maybe that I got that I didn't necessarily need? Like I don't think I had too many of those, but like I remember right away, like I got, with the grill, I got a brush.
Grill brush.
Yep. Got kind of your like utensils, right? Like your tongs.
Gotta have those. Gotta click them a few times
Yep,
today before.
absolutely. It was like it's like the set, right? Like where you
Yeah.
have like the tongs, the like the spatula that's like got the
Yeah.
serrated side and stuff like that, and like so I'm like that one, and then it usually comes like the fork, like that poker, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know if I've ever really used that
I
thing.
use it a few times.
The only time I've ever seen you use it is like moving coals around, man. I swear to God.
Well, don't worry, like I use it for that
Yeah,
too, but then
yeah,
I use it like sometimes, like if I got a piece of meat or something, like I can't find something, so I'll just grab that one. It's kind of last resort.
sure, yeah,
But I see people use it all the time.
yeah,
Just if you got a big steak on the grill, man, just stick it with the fork and
sure,
turn it over.
yeah,
Otherwise, just use the tongs or your hands.
yeah, and do what you got to
Yeah.
do. But so yeah, I'd stick with that, like kind of right away. And certain things that I got. A chimney.
Yep.
Chimney was one.
Chimney for coals. If you're using
Mhm.
charcoal, that's a game changer. So you're not, spraying lighter fluid all over the
Yeah.
place.
Let's see, man. Then if I could, I think I would have probably a thermometer.
Yeah, that would be one of my top ones. Is
Uh-huh.
having an instant read thermometer,
Hmm.
a good quality one.
Yeah.
So you're gonna need one of those,
Hmm.
so you don't make sure you don't get anybody sick.
Yep. And then I think that there's kind of like two more that I would add, like to that I would put as like essentials for me. Like if I could go back and like if I had X amount of dollars to spend, like
Yeah,
this is what I would get, right?
sure,
So I would also add like gloves,
absolutely.
grill gloves, and then
What kind? So there's a couple different kind of grill gloves out there. Like me, the first pair, like the really good first pair I got were like a nice big like welder set of
yeah,
gloves, so I can go and I can like pick up a log or I can go move around like the some charcoal without getting burned or anything, or pick up a cast iron and not have to worry about it.
yeah.
But I mean, those aren't really like your dexterity and your fingers in there. Like it really doesn't work. So what kind of gloves would you say?
Oh man, dude, I remember. Do you remember those ones? I got them from the like the gardening section.
Ah,
The meat
the
gloves.
meat gloves, yeah.
Those things were disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean they worked. They
Yeah,
did
they're
okay.
like
But
rubber, right?
yeah, no,
Plastic.
they were more like cloth. Like
Oh, really?
yeah, they were like, but man, like they weren't great with high heat. Like they were just
Start melting on
yeah, it was just like an extra layer. Kind
Yeah.
of, you know what I'm saying? Like they weren't great, but
Okay.
they got the job done. But like I would go cloth, man.
Yeah.
Like the ones that we've created and stuff that we have that are ambidextrous. You can just grab
Yeah.
them, toss them on. You can move whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
They're gonna protect you. I mean, I wouldn't sit and shred meat with those, but
Right.
you can grab a cast iron.
Yeah.
I keep mine in the house. I pull stuff, out of the oven with them. Like I use them every single day almost.
Yeah.
So I'd say a good pair of gloves, and you can find like Greg said too, like and find whatever works for you.
Right.
It doesn't matter to us.
Try out a
Like,
few
yeah,
different ones. Yeah.
if you want like kind of the big heavy duty, like I think it all depends like what you're cooking on, what you're
Mhm.
cooking, and how often you're doing it, right? Like
Yeah.
so if you
Like
are
if-
cooking like open fire and
Yeah,
stuff, like
You might want those welder
that
ones
come all the way up to your
there,
elbow
yeah,
and
so
stuff.
you're
and
not
protect
singeing
you.
arm hair
Yeah.
off.
Or if you're even if you got a big pit
Yeah.
in or a big mobile grill, or you're
Mhm.
reaching in to pull meat out and stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Something that's gonna
Yeah, and if like you're just working like on a propane or you're just working on like a pellet, maybe
Mhm.
maybe you don't need that heavy duty type, but you still need something that's going to protect
Something,
you,
yeah.
so you can grab stuff and pick it up. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean that's a good one. Gloves are I think a must, one of the top 5 as well.
Yeah, and then I think my last iron would be a cast iron, man.
Yeah,
Like there's just so much you can do.
It just
and play
opens up
and just
the playbook of what you can cook.
Mhm. And they're so versatile, and I mean they last. Like, if you get a good one, you season it well and
Mhm.
stuff, and take care of it. Like man, they're great.
Mhm.
They truly are great. There's like I said. I mean, I did the chocolate cake in there.
Yeah.
I just did the chicken tacos in there. Like
Mhm.
they're they're just so much fun to cook with,
Yeah.
I think. Then again, you don't have to use it on the grill. Like you use yours inside all the time too, right?
Oh yeah,
You
absolutely.
throw it on top of the stove in the oven, like whatever.
Yeah.
Like my it's funny. Like my dad, we were just there a couple weeks ago, to see my grandma and stuff, and like he made a big breakfast, and he pulled
Hmm.
his cast iron. I was
Hmm.
doing like eggs and potatoes and stuff,
That's
and
awesome.
yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
all right. Um, like I think a good cast iron, man, like
Yeah.
you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
that's kind of my list, dude.
Yeah, I mean, mine would be really similar. Like I'd say, number one would be like the chimney. If you're
Mm,
doing that, 1A would be like a thermometer, then gloves. Cast iron, I think, is a must. But then like, when you're thinking about like when I'm cooking, like in my space, maybe a little table that goes next to it.
yeah,
It'd be a nice one to have something to put something down on there. Otherwise, like one thing I use quite a bit that um, I think I got it as a gift maybe, or I won it like in a raffle, like as part of like a grilling package was for my Weber kettle, you can buy extra hooks to put on the outsides.
yeah.
So like I put the hooks on, so I just have more space to hang stuff up or
Mm.
like those utensils and things like
It's
that.
really
So,
nice for the Weber, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, because it kind of comes around. But like that would be one like kind of not a lot of people talk about it, I don't think, but like you can buy one of those really cheap too, like just to put it on the outside so you have like three or four more like hooks
Hmm.
just to put stuff on. But those would be kind of my top ones as well. And then we've talked about some other ones recently, like in the podcast regarding like Christmas presents, things like that, like a nice cutting board, a nice prep station inside, maybe a bucket or something, and maybe a nice cooler. So when you're
Hmm.
letting those briskets and things rest, you got something to put it in. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, the top five I think is pretty simple there. Like if you don't have any of those things like utensils, like tongs, gloves, chimney, those would, and obviously a meat thermometer, like those would probably be the place to start.
hmm, yeah. And then just other things I always have on hand. I mean that I mean, help to have.
Hmm.
I would say you could do a spray bottle,
Yeah, absolutely. Mop, like
a mop.
mop, yeah,
Hmm.
meat mop.
Yeah. What about to
Write that
like
down.
yeah, like your butcher string
String,
or
yeah,
and paper, the
yeah,
paper
that
or
comes in handy quite a bit.
aluminum foil. I mean,
Aluminum foil,
think about some of your first cooks and stuff like,
toothpicks, man.
oh
I don't
man,
know, like how many times I like do it. We got toothpicks anywhere?
yeah,
You never know where you're gonna need it,
yeah,
especially when you're trying new recipes. And oh man, it's calling for toothpicks. I
yeah,
got to stick it in here or
hmm,
butcher string or whatever. I don't have any of that, so I got
yep.
to figure something out. Yeah, man, like that. And then just some basic cookbooks to start learning.
That's a good one too, man.
Yeah,
I'd maybe add that to the top of the
yeah.
list, dude. Some
If you're
some
just
good
getting
cookbooks.
started,
Um, it's amazing, like how much you can soak up from that.
oh yeah, they'll just I keep going back to the ones
Yeah,
I
right.
first got because it's like I'm a different griller or barbecuer now than I was
Mhm.
back then. So like a lot of
Let's
stuff is
hope
oh
so.
well no okay well I'm gonna cut that out of this.
Yeah.
No, it's just like it's like now this stuff starts to make sense a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like when you first get started, it's like man, some of this stuff is just like foreign language to you, and then
Mhm.
when you do it for a little while and you
Mhm.
get some practical application in, then
Yeah.
it starts making a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
I learned by doing, Ben.
Trial and error,
Yeah,
Greg.
that's
Yeah.
right. Yep. So now when you
Sometimes a little bit more error than
yeah.
trial, right?
Yeah.
But
So when you go back, oh, now that makes sense. Now
this is why, this is why you got to do
yeah,
that.
now it
Oh,
makes
can't
sense.
skip that step,
Dang
Greg.
it.
Yep.
You did it again.
That's a t-shirt. We should do that. Oh,
Yeah.
you did it again. Damn.
Yeah.
Did it again.
Messed it up
Yep.
again. Can't do anything right. Um, but no, that's a good list, man. I think for somebody to get started here in 2025. And obviously you can add to that list, but we'll put some of those things down there. And we'll take you out to some products that we would recommend as well. Um, all right, man. Well, this is a good episode to kind of kick things off here. So we got to pick a winner. We are going to continue our giveaways here into 2025.
Yep.
This month we're giving away our all-purpose rub.
Yeah.
Yep. And so you got to go over to burnpitbbq.com, our website, to subscribe to our newsletter where we give recipes and tips and things like that. And we pick a winner each week to send one of our products to from that list. So once you subscribe, stay subscribed, so you'll always be entered in to win. All right, man. Let's pull up this list here. Let's see here. All subscribers. All right. So, give me a number, Ben.
A number?
1 through 50.
1 through 50. Let's see. Let's do 1 through 50.
Mm-hmm. It's not a trick question.
Let's do 26.
Okay. All right. All right. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Christopher Hallstrom from Green Bay.
Ooh.
Green Bay, beautiful Wisconsin.
Let's pick somebody else. I'm just kidding.
Good one. Good one. But thanks, Christopher, for being subscribed, checking out the website and things like that, and we'll get a bottle out to you here soon. Anything else, man? Anything else going on? Anything you want to talk about? World of barbecue business?
World of barbecue. Let's see. Man, like I think too, we talked about people trying new things, but I think like we're gonna see people kind of hopefully getting back to like just not overdoing it with like the rubs and the sauces and
Right.
just like man, just enjoy the meat. Focus on that. Like
Let it
focus
be
on
an
like
enhancer, not a like overpowering.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's one thing too. I'd say if you just got a new grill or you're just starting off and stuff, man, like maybe try it. Try it plain.
Yeah.
Try like start with just the plain, see how it cooks. Whether it's like a chicken breast or like a hamburger, whatever. Just give it a shot, and then you can kind of play from there.
Yeah, salt and pepper go a long way,
They sure do.
especially on beef.
Mhm.
So, and then just adjust on your preference.
Yeah.
I think that's a good tip.
hmm
For people who are just starting out.
I'm,
Get good quality meat, and then adjust from there.
mhm.
Mhm.
I remember starting off, man, like just putting all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff. And like, what do yeah.
There's some good stuff like one of like rub your butt was like one of the first ones I bought because it was in like
It's just called rub your butt.
yeah,
That's
of
why
course. Yeah. Got it. But no, it was just like one of the ones that was like in the aisle of the spices, and it stood out to me. So like that was what I used in my chicken all the time, even though it was like for pork or whatever.
Yeah.
But like now I think back to it, it's like, man, I was just coating it in this
Yep.
stuff, and it was just it's like I'm not not saying anything bad about the product,
No.
even though I'd have to go and look at the ingredients now now that we're in this, but it was just like one of those like, oh, I just need to season the crap out of this thing.
Just put so much
so it
on.
tastes great, but really no, it's like now we're at the point where it's like no, like that should just be a little bit of a enhancer for you, like the meat or the main dish should be kind of the star of the show.
Yeah.
But that's a good tip. Good tip for you. All right, man. I think that's good podcast. Good podcast.
Solid one.
Yep. And again, go out to burnpitbbq.com, subscribe to the newsletter. Go out to our YouTube page, Burn Pit BBQ, subscribe out there. We're going to be putting out the podcast out there on the website or on the YouTube page, and then we're going to start putting some tips and recipes out there as well. So make sure you subscribe and share with your friends and stuff, especially the podcast too. That's how we continue to grow, is by word of mouth. So we appreciate all those that have been following us and been sharing our story and the podcast and stuff like that. So appreciate that.
Yeah, and like always too, send us what you guys are doing. Love hearing about it.
Yeah, well, I've been seeing a lot of great cooks on our Facebook group page. A lot of people out there just experimenting with some cool stuff.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, in our Facebook group page is Burn Pit BBQ Around the Pit. So that's an open forum where people can share the recipes and what they're cooking. And then that's a place where we also put out stuff that we're testing as well. And you can be part of like the first group that sees it. So check that out too. All right, man. I think that's it.
All right, sounds good.
All right, sounds good. We'll
Take
talk
it
to you
easy.
next week. Cheers.